Welcome to Loving Me Before I Love You with Tammy Nicole, the podcast dedicated to you loving and putting yourself first. Others have come first in your life for years, and you know it's time for that to change. You're about to be empowered to set healthy boundaries, confidently have hard conversations, unapologetically put yourself first, and live the peaceful life you deserve. Remember, self-love is essential, and loving yourself sets the stage for every other love in your life. So get ready to embrace self-love like never before with your host, Coach Tammy Nicole.
Hey, it is Transformation Tuesday over at Loving Me Before I Love You. This is the home of clarity, the home of truth, the home of woman you're becoming. Every episode is designed to make you feel seen, push you to evolve, and remind you of one thing. You are the blueprint. And when we love ourselves right, the love from others is just a bonus. Hi, I'm Coach Tammy Nicole. I help women reclaim their voice, their worth, and their power so that they can stand in clarity, confidence, and courage. Y'all know attachment styles has been like running rapid just as much as you hear things like narcissisms, right? So these buzzwords of what I call clinical jargon has gone super viral. And you know we're going to talk about everything that goes super viral over here because I need you guys to have what I call clear understanding so that you know what you're operating in and operating around when you're dealing with people on the regular basis. So when we talk about attachment styles, you probably have heard things like anxious attachment, avoidant attachment, secure attachment. You've heard those few little words around the block. Most of you have probably heard anxious attachment more often than not because you guys are so fixated on being abandoned. Your daddy abandoned you, your friends abandoned you, and everybody say, once you've been abandoned, you have an anxious attachment style. This is your fear of life. You can't have a relationship because you are so scared they're about to leave you. Well, guess what? We're going to dive deep because that's what we do over here. And of course, I'm not doing this by myself. Y'all know that. This is not what we do. I always have a guest, and I actually have Dr. Ibby with me, and she is the attachment doc. And she's going to come in and get us all whipped into shape when it comes to what type of attachment style you actually might have and what attachment style is showing up in your relationship. As we discuss, that ain't love, that's attachment. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, of course, for multiple reasons. As I said, this is a big buzz conversation, attachments. But when we really think about the relationships that we have with our friends, our family, and our significant others, I don't think we actually look at the attachment style as being the foundation of what really drives how we interact with other people.
Yeah. I say attachment styles drive literally everything. I can find a way to weave it into every conversation.
So we're going to dive in deep.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I got questions, but I want to start off with something super light. Let's just start off with what is an attachment style in general. Like, let's give people the basics so that they can digest the rest with some little understanding of like, okay, I see how that fits.
Yeah. Okay. So attachment styles are just the patterns that we have in relationships and connections based on our subconscious beliefs about ourselves and about the world. Do you want me to get into each one right now or just the general?
Oh, have at it. Go right with it.
Okay. Yeah. So as Coach Tammy said, we have the anxious attachment style. Usually these people are known as being clingy or needing extra validation and reassurance and using activating strategies to get their needs met. So like double texting and testing a little bit, trying to see if their partner is going to show up for them and spiraling, overthinking, a lot of those behaviors due to, like you said, abandonment wounds usually. We also have dismissive avoidant, which is on the complete opposite end of anxious attachment. Dismissive avoidants believe they should operate as an island. It's like, I'm going to be dependent on me, you be dependent on you. We don't need to do this interdependence. They don't want to rely on you and they don't want you to rely on them because they have the subconscious core beliefs that people aren't reliable. They got to depend on themselves. And then we have a combination of both. The combo package is what I like to call it, fearful, avoidant attachment. And this is a combination of anxious tendencies and avoidant and dismissive avoidant. So put those together, we have push-pull dynamics. So they might have all this anxiety, but then they'll pull away and shut down, activate and deactivate, back and forth. And then we have secure attachment. So this is what we all aspire for, not saying like there are any bad attachment styles, but the more secure you become, the healthier your relationships are.
Okay. All right. So knowing these definitions, right, and knowing that most of us, we can't say all, we're going to say most of us probably fall under anxious more than we fall under any of it, right? I know we have a lot of
I've
avoidant
seen
people.
a lot of fearful. The combo package is the one I see most. Combo package and anxious leading. Combo package.
Yeah, but you know what's so interesting? Like even when you were mentioning the combo, like fearful, avoidant style. Now I'm one that thinks that everybody has everything. It's just what shows up most, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I do think that in the fearful avoidant, like we get to the point of avoiding and saying you do you, I do me after the burnout of the anxious side has like taken its toll in a way, right? It's like I've had too much of you saying you gonna do X, Y, and Z. Oh, okay, cool. I got you. I'm gonna finally like, sit back, watch and wait. And then I'm not gonna really give you no energy. And I think that becomes a thing after they have like they didn't have the rejection way too long. Like they have been on ice and silence way too long. So it's like, I'm gonna fix you. And then I go into
Shut down.
versus it being really avoidant. It's more like a shutdown. It's more like you stay over there, I'm gonna stay over here. I got me. I don't need you.
And the thing
I
with
got
fearful
me.
avoidance is they can cycle through that all from the first day. The first day, if they assume that something's happening or somebody didn't say something or said something, they shut down in the same day and then turn back on. Activate, deactivate can start from day one and just keep going.
The key word that you just said is assume. I don't think we talk about that a lot. I think a lot of us that are overthinkers, like I will go ahead and tell you I'm an anxious attachment style. Like I know that, right? And I think a lot of times people feel like you can fix it. I don't even like the word fixing it. I like the words learn how to handle it just a little bit. You're more aware. Like I'm self-aware about it. So I know it exists. Even when I get into relationships, friendships or romantic, I will say that on the front end. Hey, I need this, and this is why I need it. If you can't provide it, we need not even to take this any further. And that's inclusive of friends, because you will get into same-sex friendships. And, if women have a lot of things going on in their personal life and they can't like do the check-in with you when you check in with them, that's a problem too. I think a lot of times we think so significant other when it comes to it.
Yeah.
But
friendship,
for me, it's across the board.
Family, all of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I will not talk to you. Like, if you're not going to give me what I give you, I won't talk to you.
Okay.
But I'm clear. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of it is based upon, again, being self-aware and being clear. If I can't express what my needs are, that's one thing. Right? If I'm running around here just reacting to you, that to me is like, a person full blown active in their attachment style versus understanding it and operating in it from a different perspective. But you tell me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sometimes people just react. I think that's human. It's your first instinct. You just react based on what you know, based on your history, your core beliefs, your emotions. You just act. And then later on, maybe after reflection, you're like, oh, I could have handled it differently. But in your first trigger, your initial trigger, that's when the reaction happens. And that's usually when you can kind of tell which attachment style you lean toward is based on what is your initial reaction after the trigger. What happens?
That's good. Which one you lean towards? Remember, I was like, I think we all probably got a lot of them. It depends on the circumstance. It depends on what we're dealing with. Because I'm super secure when it comes to business.
Okay. Yeah. And a lot of the time it shows that it can show up across the board and then based on how threatened you feel. So if you're not feeling threatened in business, then you don't really need to have your attachment patterns activate at that point. You might be more secure there. Whereas if you feel more threatened in certain types of relationships, that's when the attachment patterns start to really kick in or show themselves, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that all attachment patterns start in childhood, or do you think it can switch up, change up, revamp itself in your adult life?
I think at the core, they definitely do start at childhood. Like you form your core beliefs by the time you're 8 years old, usually by the time you're 3, 4, like very young. However, it can either get reinforced over time or it can get changed or switched by something, especially traumatic events. Like you can have a secure attachment style when you're 3, 4, 5, and then you lose both of your parents in a car accident. There's a high chance that you might not be securely attached anymore. So I would say it can change over time, but at its core, it starts in childhood, and then what happens after either reinforces or alters.
What do you suggest for people who are taking these quizzes?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to think, how do I even want to even say this? Because I feel like people take quizzes, and these quizzes are designed to try to tell you what attachment style you are. But I think that the wording of these questions sometimes can be very misleading.
Okay.
And I say that from a standpoint of, I think in preparation for this episode, I took a little quiz, and I found myself looking at these questions. And of course, it's like agree, disagree, blah, 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 the little range. And because I'm clinically trained and because I understand questions, I found the questions to be very not that you tried to trick me, but the answer to this question, when I'm thinking about myself, could be this way on this one. And then when you ask it a different way, it's going to be something totally different, right? Questions like, do you find that your friends will be supportive and show up for you?
Okay.
Just that simple.
General questions. Yeah. One, if you take one on my website, the one I have is more scenario based. So it's like, let's say you were hanging out with someone, getting to know them. You guys had a frequent communication, and then all of a sudden you don't hear from them. How do you respond? A, B, C, or D? So it's more specific situation based. I think sometimes those can be a little bit more helpful, less trickery going on. But I think they ask those ones that way to see how consistent you are.
Right, to see if you're telling the truth. But the reality for that is the wording of the question can change the answer, right? Like, do I think that they would be supportive? Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's my initial thoughts, because in my mind, I don't choose friends that are not supportive, right?
Right.
But then if you turn around and ask me, how do you feel if your friend doesn't show up to a party you invited them to? Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, are you going to be upset? Are you going to be And it's like, I don't know. No, maybe not. Because why? They may have had a real good reason. Yeah. Right? So it's like those types of things like populating. It's like, it's almost like you're looking for the consistency versus looking for the true pattern and how you feel about a thing based upon someone showing up or not showing up.
Yeah.
based upon somebody like, rejecting you or not, or, there to give you your everything. So I think a lot of times those tests can lead to misrepresentation, because you can tell somebody to take a test and you know this person, right?
Yeah.
Like I know people and I'm like, oh no, you're definitely anxious attachment, or you're definitely avoidant, or you're like, you just know, right? You watch them. And then they go take the test and it comes back disorganized. So I'm like, wait, what? Oh,
Yeah. I
no.
think the quizzes are a really good starting point. Like maybe take a couple, see what, maybe pick out some questions specifically. So you go through the test, pick out some questions that stand out at you. Like, okay, how would I typically react in this situation? And then until you really get into reading more about it, understanding it, meeting with a therapist or coach, that's when you can truly see, okay, it does align with this, or it doesn't actually align. I've had people take the test and think it's one thing. And then after we talk for a bit, it's like, okay, maybe it's a little sprinkle of this. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know, however you want to look at it, a lot of the time, dismissive avoidance test as securely attached, because some of the questions lean like, how would you respond if you don't get a text back? Well, they're just going to go on with their day. How do you, so it comes across as they're independent, self-sufficient,
Yeah.
secure, and then they test secure. And then they think that's what they are until they talk with a coach or therapist or someone who knows a little bit more. So I think the tests are just a starting point, and then you take it a step further and do more research or seek out support.
Do you suggest to people that they actually know what their attachment style is before they get into a romantic relationship?
It's not necessary. It's not like mandatory, but it's super, super, super helpful. I've seen it change so many relationships just by the awareness. Like if I'm aware that this is my thing, I know why I'm acting like this. I know how to ask for what I want. I know what keeps hindering me, where my stuck points are. And I know it in my partner too. Like, oh, they're not acting that way because they hate me. They just need time to recharge. But they're not acting that way because I'm not doing enough. They just need reassurance. It's like a light bulb, essentially. I think it's really important.
Yeah. So I think people should know personally.
Sure. And I think I have some people take it in the relationship when they finally discover, it's like, okay, take it now. It's never too late. At some point, learn about it.
Yeah. I mean, me personally, like even when I do sessions, like if you don't know, it's a part of my self-awareness piece, even when I do coaching, because like if you don't know who you are, how you show up, or what your capacity is, it's very difficult to interact and engage with other people in a pure space of understanding. Because if I'm interacting with you, I have to know how I'm showing up. I cannot just second guess it. I can't leave it to, caution to the wind. It is what it is. Relationships are very vital and important, but we don't nurture and we don't handle them properly. That's why I feel like we have such a high divorce rate. That's why we have even friendships breaking up after 15, 20 years of friendships. We got divorces after 25, 30 years. There are a lot of dismantling of relationships simply because we don't know who the heck we are. And I think the attachment style is a part of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the core wounds beneath the attachment style, because each style comes with its own set of core beliefs and core wounds that were we adapted or adopted based on our experiences in childhood, usually. So if you have a core wound and let's say your partner critiques you about something and you're triggered and you're mad and you're upset, rather than taking it as constructive feedback, you feel threatened. Well, maybe you have a core belief that you're not good enough. So you're filtering what they said through I'm not good enough, rather than just, oh, they were just giving me some feedback. Okay. So it's like everything that happens once you're triggered, you're usually filtering it through a core wounds that you have.
Hey, hope you're feeling the love in today's episode. We'll pick back up where we left off in a moment. First, we're excited to share that Tammy has a collection of self-love t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, and journals for you to express how much you love yourself to the world. From comfy hoodies to motivational mugs, there's something for everyone. While you're listening to today's show, Feel free to browse the full collection at iamtammynicole.com. Thank you, and without further ado, let's get back into today's show.
When you think about anxious attachment as it's, I would say, the predominant one that everybody talks about the most, and you think you put it in context of a relationship. Let's look at opposite sex friendships. The overthinking, the what's the word? Not even avoidance, but it's like overthinking, the need of reassurance, and all of those things that kind of like come up in the puddle of why isn't this person responding to me? Why aren't they reaching out? Why do they say one thing, do another? Sometimes it's about you and your attachment, but then sometimes it's about the other person. At what point is it the other person and not your attachment style?
That's a good question, because it's always you at the end of the day.
Oh, get it, girl. Let's go.
Because if you are triggered, you are making someone else's actions mean something about you when they're just doing things. So if you're triggered, because people can do what they do. What'd you say?
I said, oh yeah, break that down.
People can do what they do, and it feels very personal. It feels very much like an attack. It feels very much like they're doing this to me. Yes, it is personal because that is somebody I care about. It feels personal. However, the goal in life is to separate your responses and how you feel about yourself from someone else's actions. That's a path to healing attachment styles, or like working on your attachment style if it is insecure, is to separate someone else's actions from what you're making it mean about you. That's literally, most of the time when we're triggered, I want to say 99% of the time when we're triggered, it's because we've made the action mean something about us. Someone cuts us off in traffic. They could be speed racing to get their mom to the hospital. Yet we're upset because we've made it mean something about us, when in reality, we don't know what it is.
That's true. So how does a person navigate that space when they have, let's just say they have thought about everything before responding or reacting to the situation? You know, they're like, no call, no text, no response, no interaction. What could this mean? Now, granted, the plethora of things it could mean. Something happened, and this is the one that I think is like super, like, I hear this all the time. He didn't call me. He hasn't texted me, yet he's posting on social.
Yep. I've seen that. Yep.
Right? Like, he's posting on social. I see him interacting with everyone else because they made a comment. He responded. He responded to their comment, didn't respond to mine. I'm trying to think of the other little things that happen where it's like you feel like this individual is 100% avoiding you, ignoring you.
Yeah.
You may not tell your story of why you think they're ignoring you, but the storyline is they're ignoring you for whatever reason.
Yeah. Yeah. That sucks. That never feels good.
Right. Yeah. So then what would you say to that individual on navigating that level of interaction? So they're thinking about everything before making a response or reaction or reaching out with an attitude.
Yeah.
How do they interact with that person being in that spot? Feeling ignored.
Yeah.
They haven't been reached out to. They see them on social media. So we know they're alive and well, right? So, sometimes first thing is like, well, something could have happened to them. No, they're alive and well. They're on socials. They're interacting on social. So you know that that's real time.
Yeah. Okay.
We're gonna let the attachment doc navigate for us real quick. This is cool.
That one's so tough because it's like you want to reach out and say something because clearly they are not prioritizing you. As at baseline, we can all come to that conclusion. They're not prioritizing. Maybe they're
They're
not
not a
avoiding you.
priority.
They're
Okay.
not prioritizing you in that moment. Now the question becomes, what are you making it mean about you? Are you making it mean that you're not good enough? Are you making it mean that you're being abandoned? Are you making it mean that you're being rejected? Are you making it mean that, I don't know, whatever you're making it mean about you is how you then.
Let's say they make it mean that they're unwanted, right? Like, let's just use what I call common things. Like, if they don't prioritize me, they clearly don't want me, right? Like, that's a common, not that they're leaving me or ghosting me, but they don't want me because they're not prioritizing me. Okay, so that's the scenario. We're navigating this. Like,
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna keep going. This is why I bring my clients back to the core.
I love it.
I just
This
mentioned,
is cool,
right? So that I'm feeling unwanted still ties into one of those four. So if you're unwanted, then what? What are you afraid is going to happen? What's your biggest fear? Once you're unwanted, you're going to feel you're going to be abandoned. You're going to be rejected. You're not going to feel good enough. What is it? Somewhere in that realm.
Let's say they're going to leave. Yeah, we'll go with that one. That's the easiest.
Okay. Yeah. So feeling of a potential abandonment, like they're going to vanish out of your life. So that means there's an underlying need for love and connection, because we all have underlying needs. Whenever something like that happens and we're triggered, yes, it's from a core wound, and also because we have a need. At that point, you need love and connection. And if your thing is you want to reach out because you guys have good rapport, things have been going pretty well, and you're seeing this happen, you can say that. I think it's sometimes different when it's someone who's brand new, because you don't really know their mode of operation yet. If it's someone that you've had a pattern with, a pattern established, you can definitely feel free to say something. Like, hey,
I notice a shift.
I noticed a shift. Yeah. Or, I mean, just something like, I'm used to us having a more frequent cadence with our texts. Are you okay? Something like that. Or even saying what you need. Yeah. Or saying what you need. Like, hey, I'm used to this. So when things kind of shift, I start to question. So I'm just curious, is everything okay? Something like that. You don't have to get into too much depth. You don't have to poke and say, oh, I saw you on Instagram.
No, that would be doing too much. I would never suggest that anybody do anything like that.
Yeah, I've seen it happen though. But you could be posting on Instagram.
But I think that that's out of anger, right? I think that that's out of anger and hurt. But if you ever take the time just to sit with you first, and that's why I'm saying, like, okay, let's navigate this. You sit with yourself, you understand how you are and how you show up. Could you be overthinking the situation? Everybody is due a break, right? Even if you are constant. So in other words, if I talk to you, matter of fact, I have a cousin, I talk to her every day, probably 50,000 times a day, right? Yeah. If she went a day and didn't talk to me, didn't call me, didn't text me, some level of interaction, didn't send a message on Instagram, TikTok, like anything like that, there was no, like, it was rabid silence.
Yeah.
And I saw her on, I don't know, active on Facebook or what have you. It would feel kind of weird. But at the same time, I still would be like, everybody's due a break, right? Everybody's due no interaction. But the likelihood of that is probably slim and none. Why? Because we're all creatures of habit. Yes. So if you are a part of my habit, if my habit is to talk to you every day and I go a day without talking to you with no explanation, to me, it's when what they say, the spidey senses on the back of your neck start to rise and be like, what's really going on?
Yeah. In a situation like that, even just like a check-in, like I said earlier, like, hey, I noticed we haven't talked today. We usually do, just sending you love, hugs and kisses. Maybe she just doesn't have the capacity that day. It's like, we don't want to make the assumption that it's something
that it's about you, that it's about us.
Me. Yeah.
That's
and a good one. A lot of people do that. And it makes sense why we do that, because it does feel like a personal hit when it's somebody personal to you. So just a reach out, a check-in, something like that. If someone's playing in your face, let's get to that, I guess. If someone really is playing in your face. So you reach out, you say like, hey, I know we normally have like a more frequent cadence in which we communicate, and we haven't today. Just wanted to check in, make sure you're okay. Still no response. A day goes by, more Instagram. You see all of that going on. You can choose to cut it. You can choose to say something else, especially if this is someone more new. They're clearly not trying to prioritize this. Whether they're playing in your face or not, they're not prioritizing this for whatever reason. You can call it out or you can bow out. But constantly when you start trying to activate, and now you're activating, now you're questioning over and over again. Now you're making a fake account on Instagram so you can watch their story.
Oh no, please
now
don't
you're
doing this.
Now you're activating. It
They
keeps
do
you
that?
in the loop. Yeah. It keeps them in the loop of their attachment patterning, of the insecure attachment patterning. And that's what we're trying to break. We're trying to show up more securely attached. We have to set boundaries. We have to do cutoffs. The more you activate, the more you stay engaged, the more you're reinforcing your attachment patterns.
Y'all heard her. Some of us don't, realize that that's technically what's happening when they are doing those things. But those other stuff you just said, like, wait, what? I find that to be like extreme.
People are trying to get needs met out here. And, the brain is going to find ways to get your needs met, even if it's not the healthiest way. So maybe creating a fake Instagram account, maybe pulling up to their house and checking if they're home, maybe whatever type of investigative things people do. It's a way to get that need for certainty met, that need for safety, that need for love and connection. People are just trying to get needs met, and maybe not in the healthiest way sometimes.
Yeah. Now y'all heard her. That's what the attachment doc said. My response or reaction is going to be, don't do it. Do not create an extra account. My thing is, if you have to go out of your way to get someone to pay you any level of attention, letting go is the only answer. Your worth is well beyond the need of them in your life. Because as we always say, if they wanted to, they would. And I say that across the board, not just in what they will do for you, but what you will do for you. So if you wanted to love yourself a little bit more, you would. You wouldn't be so fixated on the love that you want from them. I'm a firm believer in loving yourself first is the foundation for even seeking the love of others. So even when I talk about the attachment styles and things of that nature, I'm talking about it from a standpoint of also loving you first, right? Knowing your attachment style stems from loving you because you were willing and intentional on becoming self-aware. And when you become self-aware, that's all about the self-love that you want to give you because you understand what your capacity is. You understand what you can handle. And so knowing your limits, creating a fake account is a limit. We don't do those things. Like that's stooping below your worth. You set your worth, not other people. You set your value, not other people. And if you think that peeping, tiptoeing, looking around the curtain to see what they're doing when they ain't thinking nothing about you is you having high level of worth or high value, you are sadly mistaken. And that has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with your attachment style. That is you wanting what you want. And what you should want is you. You should want yourself to be happy, whole, and not vying for someone else's love and attention that technically you should be giving to yourself.
And that's a tough one sometimes because our attachment patternings and our attachment wirings, our subconscious beliefs get embedded by one or all of three ways. What we repeatedly hear, what we repeatedly witness, or what repeatedly happens to us. So the more you are in certain situations reinforcing those things, the more your subconscious is going to believe that that's all you can have. That's what you deserve. That's what's only going to be here. So you have to change what you surround yourself with. You have to change what types of things you're watching on TV, even what types of relationship types of conversations you're having, what types of, stories you're listening to. If you want to believe you can have more and you are worthy of more, you cannot keep showing your subconscious less than. That's not going to work.
Manifest something different. That's what she just said. Y'all like to use these keywords, so we gonna keyword you. Manifest something different. In other words, my mom used to say it, and it's biblically sound too, as a man thinketh, so is he. If you constantly think of yourself in those spaces, if you constantly put yourself in those spaces, that's the outcome you'll see. 100%. But again, fake accounts, I think they hit a nerve, because it's like real, like, for real? Like, you for real out here making a fake account to see somebody else's life?
It
Because you
hurts
can't.
when it feels like, my heart does go out to them, because it hurts when it feels like something's being pulled away from you and you don't have answers. I think when doing that is like, some people just want answers, and the only ways they think to get it are through these extremes sometimes, because it feels really bad when someone just falls off the face of the earth. And then you start to feel
I've been
abandoned,
ghosted.
rejected.
I've been ghosted before. I get it. And I always say closure is that. If they left, that's the closure. The why doesn't matter. Like, as much as we want the why, it honestly doesn't matter, because their choice was to not have you as a part of their life. And I understand that hurts. Been there, done that. Got 2 t-shirts, 5 hats. Like, I understand. However, the thing that honestly helped me get over that piece is fueling myself. So you are a cup, you are a vase yourself. You have to pour into you all the time. If you're only sitting around here waiting to be full because somebody else poured into you, you're going to be waiting a long time. Because people around you can pour into you, but they're never going to pour into your capacity. They're only going to give you so much, because they have to pour into themselves. So if we constantly think that we should be waiting around for other people to give us what we need, that's why self-love is so important. This is why I'm on the bandwagon of helping women understand who they are, what their worth is, so they stand in clarity. You can be confident in who you are, that you're not, okay, they left. Yes, that hurt. And yes, you need to process it. And yes, you need to, work through it. However, chasing the answer that's technically written on the wall, because their why doesn't matter. It's the why you give you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Clear cut. It sucks. I know it sucks. But then it comes back to having to rewire some of those subconscious beliefs. So if someone ghosts you and you're triggered, obviously no one wants to be ghosted. But if you feel like you have to go to the extremes to get answers, it's because you believe certain things about yourself. They don't want me because I'm not good enough. They don't want me because, I'm being rejected right now. I'm being abandoned right now. I'm unloved. I'm undesirable. You're making it mean something about you, which is why you're activating. So you have to work on changing those subconscious beliefs. Like, you are worthy. You're not going to be abandoned by the people who matter. You're not going to be rejected by the people who matter. You are loved, and showing yourself more examples of that, so you don't feel the need to activate when something like ghosting happens.
And the more you believe it for you, the more those people around you actually show up. You'll start being in circles where people don't abandon people, because you don't abandon yourself.
Self-abandonment is huge.
If you abandon yourself, everyone around you will also abandon you. So it's not just that they left. 9 times out of 10, you left first.
And you're continuing to leave by chasing.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So don't abandon you. That to me is the ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
Don't abandon you.
Stand firm in your boundaries and your standards and the things that matter to you, and getting your needs met. Yes, maybe another human can't meet your needs per se, But if they are depleting everything you have, then
they gotta go.
You gotta let them go. Mm-mm.
That's a good one too. Knowing when to let go. I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah, I just think when it's taking more than it's adding, and it gets to a point where in certain relationships where it's like you're giving, you're drained every day, you're sliding down the wall, crying, you can't even function at work, you can't even focus with your friends, you're isolated from your friends because you're obsessed with this thing. That is taking more than it's adding. And I think at that point, it's time to reevaluate. Absolutely. It shouldn't be your world, and especially not in the most negative ways. It should not be everything that's your mind is holding on to, that, oh my gosh, we're in an argument again. Oh my gosh, we have to fix this argument. Oh my gosh, I can't make it to my friend's birthday party because we're arguing. Oh my gosh, I can't stay focused because he didn't text me back or she didn't text me back. Your whole world is consumed by the negativity of this person. It's time.
Cut the cord. Well, tell the people how they can find the assessment, because they definitely need to take it. And any other things that you have going on your side of the world so that they can stay connected with you. I really appreciate you joining us, because giving the tips on what they need to do, understanding the attachment styles are super, super, super important. And I think that knowing that it's not just romantic relationships that these things show up in. They show up in your friendships. They show up in your coworker connections. They show up at work. Like, they show up everywhere that you show up. Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah. Where you are, there it is.
That part. Remember, because it's not love, it's attachment. Tell them exactly where they can find all the goodies.
Yes. I'm on Instagram and TikTok at dr.ibbyarrow. Everything links there. So you can click on the link in my bio. You'll see the attachment quiz. You'll see my course, Date Like a Secure Person. You'll see my book, Tales of a Situationship. That is a book of poetry and prose about the highs and lows of a situationship and navigating that. Everything is linked at Dr. Ibbyarrow on Instagram and TikTok. And the attachment quiz specifically is on my website, auroraloverelationships.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks
Y'all
for
know
having me.
That we say you are the blueprint, sign self-love, because loving yourself more, that the love from others is a bonus, is always the way to do it. Remember, get all your coaching needs, get all of your self-love information, journals, etc. from me. Go to the website. You can go to iamtammynicole.com. You can send me questions at iamtammynicole.com. And you can also send your coaching needs to coaching@iamtammynicole.com. See you guys next Tuesday. Remember, self-love is essential. Have a good one.
That's a wrap on another episode of Loving Me Before I Love You. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a second to show your support by subscribing and leaving a positive rating and review on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Stay connected with Tammy. Make sure you're following her on Instagram and TikTok at Coach Tammy Nicole. If you like to work with Tammy or have any questions you like her to answer, please head over to www.iamtammynicole.com. Until next time, always remember to love yourself so much that the love from others is a bonus.